Welcome to the show, folks. Hey, if you don't know me, my name is Mike Asherbrander, professionally known as the Redneck Connector, proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And you are tuning in to Mike King Biz Radio on ESPN 106.1 RVA FM. Wow, folks. So I'm not going to waste any time on this one. Today's conversation is for leaders who've done everything right on paper. We're talking the strategy, the systems, the performance, right? Even success. And yet they still feel like something deeper is holding them back. Yeah, you're not alone. People are just better hiding it than we are, folks. So listen, if that's you, you're in luck. My guest today is the one and only Baz Porter, and he works with high-performing founders and executives who realize, that strategy alone isn't the problem. Identity really is. Well, I learned that the hard way. So, folks, get ready. We're not about motivation and mindset hacks. We're about to go, it's about the breath work, right? Or the work beneath the work. The identity alignment that determines whether leadership feels grounded and powerful or whether it's exhausting, fleeting, and fragile. So, if you hit a ceiling and you can't explain it, this conversation's for you, folks. Let's roll this intro and get down to it.
Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope. We turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations, well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success, it's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
All right, folks. He may be originally from the UK, but this guy's international. He definitely knows about crawfish and singing on a Friday night. Let's bring him to the stage, Mr. Baz Porter. How are you, big dog?
I'm amazing. Thank you, Mike. And thank you for having me.
Oh, man. So we've had you on months ago. And since then, I just want folks to know, man, you get the credit or blame in large part, right, for the guidance and the things that you've done with me and many other hounds. And so I want folks to know this ain't no infomercial or bait and switch. This is an upper level discussion that I want to share. Right? If someone found the cure to cancer, what do? They don't keep it to themselves, right? They share it, right? And so that's kind of the mindset here. So folks, ask questions. If you got a question on live, if you're watching on YouTube, Hounds of Business, you're on LinkedIn, throw them out there. We'll do our best to get it. This is your show, okay? So thank you, Baz. I know you're a busy guy, super high level, and it's an honor to have you. So let's dive right into it if we may. A lot of leaders listening right now, right? Me included, back in the day, not too long ago. We have more strategy. Heck, we even have resources and all kind of stuff than we can shake a stick at, but we still feel stuck, right? And so when you hear that, what immediately comes to mind, bro?
Stuck is a word that I hear a lot with business owners and entrepreneurs. The challenge is you're not really stuck. It's a frame or a mind state that you have that is outside of your awareness to how to move forward. As soon as you have the awareness of, oh, that's where I'm going, that's what I want, then that stuckness sort of dissipates. But that's when we reach out to guides, coaches, consultants to try and get more momentum, because we believe that someone else knows the knowledge.
Right.
Most of the time, yes, they do, but you can decide how long you stay stuck for by just changing that language. For instance, I'm not stuck. I'm in a process. I'm learning, gathering intelligence, I'm gathering information. Just by doing that gradually over day by day, and actually doing the thing that your mentors, coaches, or guides want to actually ask you to do, not going, well, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it next week, because then you don't get the momentum. As soon as you go, this is what I'm doing, that's the direction, change the language, you don't become stuck, you become in momentum.
Absolutely. And I've not just heard you say that, you've helped me and other people move through that. So on that note, got to ask, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but in my paraphrase, you say this: the real ceiling in leadership isn't strategy, it's identity. And to
Mhm.
me, well, that's the horse before the cart, right? And we're all about that in the house. So for someone hearing that for the first time, Baz, what do you mean by identity in this context?
An identity is what we associate of who we're with, who we are. Most of our thoughts, our belief systems aren't actually ours. They're imprints of what we've seen, heard, been told years and years before. An entrepreneur, business owner, but you're still a human being. The labels define us because we believe we are this, and therefore we must be and act and do as this. As soon as we start removing them labels and going, well, I'm a human being, I'm Mike, and I do this, this, and this, we switch from being me serving and being outwardly serving to community, to other people. So the identity is association with who we believe we are. But what if we were more than that label? What if we were more than a business owner? We all look at our lives and go, well, I'm just a business owner, I'm just an entrepreneur, I can't. And we start these stories.
Right.
But you're not just a business owner, you're not just an entrepreneur, you've got a family, you're a husband, you're a wife, you're a father, you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a brother. You've got other identities. You're all of them. People say, oh, I'm a human being. Well, stop being a human being. Oh, sorry. Most people do a human doing sort of
Right.
thing, and then we switch over to a human being, and that's a powerful distinction between, well, I'm a human being, not I don't have to be a human doing. So now I can become a different identity. It's giving yourself permission to lead differently.
Yeah, and you're talking to me still. That hamster wheel, that whole, I've got to produce this, or and it does, especially high achievers, right? That ambition that got you there could really take you down if you're not
Yeah.
careful. And again, the clarity, right? You helped me gain that, and if you're internally clear, now you could be externally clear, right? Your marketing is clear, your branding, your purpose, meetings you take, right? So on that note, why do in general, right? Why do high performers, especially disciplined, capable leaders, the ones you work with mostly, often hit these invisible ceilings, right? Where it seems like no tactic can fix it. They just hit this block. What is is there a common denominator?
Yes, there is. And it usually comes when they have a ceiling of what they define of success. And they've built the business, they've got the clients, and it's not where they want it, or they've in process of transitioning into something else. But it is an identity shift. You can't be a business operator and a business owner. The switch into delegation of a true entrepreneur is actual delegation of tasks and focusing on the highest paid tasks within your organization. And then everything else gets moved to one side, to a team, to a delegation, to an automation, and the systems and all the other things you can do with that. But it takes patience and courage and a lot of stepping through the fear, going, well, I've got to hand this to somebody else, and do I trust it, etc. Alex Hormozy, who is phenomenal in the area, says about your next best employee is the one next. It's never the one before or the one before. And the
Right.
further you scale up, you need different skill sets for different results. You can't go to a startup and you're trying to build into an infancy or an adult business and equally in your life. You can't go back into an old relationship that had failed for whatever reason and think it's going to start over again, be better, they'll change, da 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 da. You have to realize that you have to move forward, and it takes courage, bravery to step through that and change the identity and relationship to whatever the circumstance is in front of you.
Yeah, is it safe to say, I mean, let me put again, I have lacked the words. You're so eloquent, especially with the accent. But you know, it's evolution of becoming your best self, right? So when we first start off going to corporate to business, we're just trying to make the ends meet, right? That's a big accomplishment. But then you find out, hey, now I can make this even better. You start leveling up, and then you got another challenge, right? Another ceiling that you might hit, which is how do I get this from surviving to thriving? How do I build a business that no longer needs me to grind and make it happen, right? And so we're not talking woo woo, right? We're talking practicality, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's set me up for my next question, because what I have noticed with me and so many other people around me, that's why I love the Hounds. We talk openly, right? We don't hide it. We just help each other solve it. But we've talked about the unresolved identity patterns and how they quietly sabotage leadership, your goals, your dreams, right? You don't even know it. So, what does that sabotage actually look like in day-to-day decisions if someone doesn't get this identity? They don't tackle this head on. How does this sabotage in day-to-day activities?
Well, that's a great question. And to answer it fully, I'd need to back up for when I reorganized my entire business. When one of the occasions my business collapsed, because we all go through many, and it's always uncomfortable, and it's the growth period. But I wanted to build back stronger, but with real-time data that actually worked, and it wasn't coming from theory or transitional research from AI or online. So I did something that I didn't feel comfortable doing, but I did, and that was actually sit down and message 700 women in my network. Women were my primary audience and my primary target. I don't know why. I do know why, but I'm not going to go into it here. 448 responded, and I had a 10 to 15-minute meeting with them, and I started to discover what was going on behind the scenes, behind the fortresses, behind the castles that they'd built online, the social media presence, the untouchable, the perfect picture, the perfect post. All that was just jargon. And what I realized was they were a human being. They had self-identity challenges, self-worth, self-abandonment. There was actually 12 of them that came into play. These were repeating patterns. But they weren't aware of them. Most importantly, they weren't aware of them playing a part in every other part of their lives, not just in their private lives, but at home, with their kids, with their relationships, in their businesses, all of it. One single change, let's take one for instance, which is abandonment. It's heavy with a lot of people in the world, but they don't know where it plays an actual part in their life. Could be with finance. Are they scared to invest in themselves? Are they scared to move forward with a decision because they don't want to lose something, or the perception of losing something or giving something up? This is all signs of abandonment, and you're not aware of it. Every time you become aware of something, you then create a pathway of awareness and then shift into more strategic decision making, not just in the business, but at home with your relationships. But one pattern, one belief system that you have is playing subconsciously and consciously a part in all of your life without you even knowing. I discovered 12 of them, and I set about creating a reverse engineered pathway to identify what it is, and then removing it, and then being aware of it, and then changing the behavior in order to move away from it by being singly focused on a result that you are not currently living, a different version of yourself, a higher version of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, well said. And this is what I mean. You're straight to the point. right? You come in and you do what needs to be done. You don't fluff. You don't fluff in your quote sales calls. You don't fluff in your coaching. It's just one thing. Like, hey, how can we help you? It cannot help you, right? And because you're one of the, again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but what impressed me and it continues is that you spend more time making sure that the person is the right fit than convincing people that they are. And that is very rare if you put it that way, right? Like you, hey, if we're going to do this, you approach things as partnerships, not, order takers. And that is that's probably why you work with upper, level folks. And that's why I like when you have up and comers who see your value. That's why we're doing this show. Cause there's people
Mhm.
like Oprah before she's Oprah type of thing, right? And those are the folks that we want to make sure that they know, hey, you've got some things coming around the corner. We're going to address it. But, these kind of upper level things are now more affordable and accessible than they were before. So, folks, let me give a shout out to Mike King. Got to give a shout out to Mike King before we move on and dive into the Baz. Uh, Thank you, my friend. This year, again, 2026, you push people up in your community like no other, right? That's why we're birds of a feather. Thank you for the opportunity, Mike King, to elevate folks, to get this message out there and help other people out here who have the right heart. They just need the people, resources, support, and information. That's what they need. So thank you for tuning in on the radio, on live. You can find us on Hounds of Business. We have plenty of expert interviews, no fluff, great value. Go to Hounds of Business on YouTube. You can connect with me, Mike Asherbrenner, Redneck One on LinkedIn, or you can send me old school carrier pigeon. I still take those, weather pending. But hey, don't do this alone, folks. If you want to plug into a safe community that's based on trust first for entrepreneurs, if you have a passion, hey, DM me. We have a group call, pull up a chair, no pressure, get to know each other. If there's value, let's move forward. If not, let me send you somewhere you need to go. Fair enough? All right. So now we're sitting down. If you're just tuning in, everybody go to Baz, B-A-Z, Porter, Porter.com. BazPorter.com. There's free resources. There's an assessment. Go check Baz. Very heart-centered and high-level guys they come. So let's go off of what you just said about identity, because I figured this out the hard way, right? And you helped me, you helped me not spin my wheels in the mud. Okay. But just to recap that subject, what happens to leadership when identity is built on those things, the performance, approval, productivity, instead of grounded inner clarity, authority? What happens? And because high achievers are like, well, why is things not working? And this is one of the things you help me see.
So, one of the things, and there are many different aspects of this question, but the simplest way to answer it is it's a silent collapse. This isn't burnout. This isn't something that is physical or mental or emotional. It is something that is behind the scenes that erodes. And what I realized from my own experience, from listening to others, so many others, podcasts and other aspects of what I do, it was the same thing. I've built this, but it's not working. And I started to ask why, not to them personally, but quietly to myself. Why is it not the way you want it? Was expectation? It was partly that. But it was actually non-alignment. It wasn't aligned with who that person was. There's an old saying
That's huge.
that the universe keeps receipts. It does. It will teach you lessons along that way, but it will also remove anything, no matter what, that is not in alignment with who you truly are and what you truly believe in and your purpose. That's attached to your identity, your core identity, not your beliefs. What you actually believe about yourself will manifest and come true in your own life from your own lens. So if you believe you're inadequate, not worthy, or abandoning yourself in any way, that will manifest. Things will collapse. There's no good or bad in that respect. It's just, it's not for you right now, and it will be removed. But don't question it. Celebrate it. The moment you start celebrating your future, your journey, and you do it repetitively, you build another habit. The habit becomes a fruition of an opportunity that comes forward. So it's not an alignment. Great. what is? What's my future destination? What do I truly want?
Well, there's a ton of people out there. I mean, that's why I love being in the house, right? We got Kevin Smiths out there. You know, a lot of times this shows up in, it seems crazy. Like, hey, I got a great business, I got everything, and then I'm going to run around and chase kindness and spread across the globe. Like, what is that, right? But see, would someone like that be happy not doing it? Like, it's like, well, comfort and safety, you know, you're going to trade that for adventure and passion and this sounds great on paper, Baz, but when you go to cross that line, it's scary, right? And that's why it's good to have a guide. I got to that line many times and went, oh no, heck no. I feel like I was going to walk off a cliff. And to have somebody like you say, hang on a second, I know this is scary. I've been here before many times. Let me guide you through this is really, you can't put a price tag. Well, you can, but I can't. It's invaluable to me, right? And so, real quick, because I know we only got about the 10 minutes. So if you can wrap this one up in 1 minute so we can take a deep dive. I want folks to go and engage with you and share you. This is not, this is a big deal. And there's a lot of stuck people out there, professionals, doctors, lawyers. They hate life. And this is probably why. And if you say, how does he know that? Because we've been here, right? We're just talking about it. So Baz, on that note, when leaders move from performance-driven identity to that aligned identity, right? That inner clarity, I'm going to follow it no matter how crazy it seems, right? What's the first thing that they usually changes? Is it their decisions, energy, confidence, relationships?
I think the first signs are the relationships, mainly with themselves. Their whole confidence level changes, the way their language and how they speak about themselves, the way they view the world, their time, as in how they spend their time. Is it aligned with what they want? I mean, you got Nathan on here, who's an incredible business coach, very successful, who has been through so many challenges in his life through one aspect or another. Now he helps other people. But the language in his world has changed internally first.
Yep.
It will always change internally before it goes external. And then when the external happens, you do more of the thing that you just did in order to create a momentum. But it's the internal dialogue where you change it first. And then as soon as that starts to move the needle, other opportunities come in. We talk about energy a lot, and the energy, Tony Robbins says this, where your energy goes, where your emotion goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
So all of the great gurus, all the rest of them, yes, they work, but do they work intentionally for you? Make sure you're doing whatever it is you're doing, not for somebody else, not for a like or a post or a compliment. Do it because it's right internally in your heart, within your soul.
Easier said than done sometimes. But that's why the inner work is so important. We're always putting the cart before the horse. Well, let me do my marketing, my strategy. Figure out who you are, right? Figure out do you really even want to be on this path, right? Like, you know, it's like trying to get me to computer program. I did that before. It was the dumbest thing ever. But why did I do it? Because I didn't have the clarity to say that's good for your brother, not you, right? And so there's so much to it. But people feel isolated, especially when they've climbed these bridges. They hit success, they hit their goals, they hit them many times, and then they hit a plateau, and boy, they can unravel. And that's a shame, because when I break a toe, I go to ER. When I crash internally, I just suffer in silence by myself, and that's why we're putting you up here, Baz. I've seen it. And so anyway, real quick, maybe the last two questions in the last 3 minutes. If someone feels like, yeah, this is me, but I don't know where to start, what's the first honest step you'd invite them to take? Is it that assessment? Like, where do they go?
Great question. I'm not for everybody. And if you're not willing to move or shift and fast, don't bother. Just go to a life coach, and I wish you the best of luck. If you are serious about changing and gaining the momentum, I only accept applications, and I don't know anything about you. So the best thing to do is go to the website, bazporter.com, and there is a link on there, or buttons on there that you can just press, Do an assessment. It's 101 questions. Take the time doing it. Be honest. Don't try and bluff it, because I'll know when I read them. If
Yeah, he
that's
will.
for you, I will. But if that's for you, great. Book a call with me. Let's have a conversation and let's get serious about your ascension in your life or equally your business. But I warn you, I'm not for the faint-hearted. And if you want to go, let's go.
Hey, that's not marketing conjuncture. It's like, yeah, I've been through this process, and he's probably easier on me than y'all. But again, this is not for people tap dancing. This is for folks going, it means too much to me. I got to figure this out. I'm internally and externally not living my purpose, which means that people aren't being impacted. What you can do out there is not coming to fruition. It's not corny talk. This guy helped me unlock it. That's why I'm excited to share him, because it's nothing worse. People say, you have a dream. No, I had a hallucination, because having a passion and a dream with no way to execute it, that's what that is. That's hallucination. And that's what we're here for. So maybe this doesn't land with you, but your friend Sally, yeah, send it to Sally. Okay. That's where we're going at, because that's the Hound's way. It's the Mike King's way. We share good things out there and do our best, because when the right person hears that, when the seed is planted, folks, boom. And now things like homelessness and equality and whatever it is that drives us forward we can make a dent in it. All right. So last question to close out. If you had to leave the leaders out there listening with one truth, right, about real leadership that most people avoid, what would it be? What do you want people to walk away with?
I have a statement that I use often, and it simply says, you're the miracle. What it truly means is you've got to realize you have more potential, more truth, more alignment, more growth, more potential impact, just with one day, with one decision, with one conversation. Never forget you are the miracle, and keep acting as if you already are that. Not fake it till you make it. Embody the person you're becoming, even though you're in process.
Spoiler alert, you are the miracle. You just don't, if you're like me, you just haven't figured out. And hey, big shout out, Nathan Mitchell, Lead Empower TV. Thank you, brother. Part of our media network, the expansion of that to get guests and hosts and people that got a message, real engagement, real progress. Okay. Thank you for being a leader in that, my friend. So folks, hey, without further ado, go to Baz Porter. If you're on there, Baz, B-A-Z, Porter, PORTER.com. Thank you for having an easy name, Baz. Makes my job easier, right? Especially being me. And go out there, take the assessment, do your homework. Follow him on LinkedIn, Baz Porter on LinkedIn. There's no fluff here. It's just substance. That's it. And that's what I like, right? Sometimes you don't like what you hear, but that's what you need to hear. It's kind of like if the doctor diagnosed you, he don't want to tell you, but he's got to. And, you can really compress time frames. So anyway, Baz, before everybody thinks that I'm going to propose to you, I just want to make sure that, I don't, when we say bravo, we mean bravo. And it doesn't mean you're the only coach. I just want folks to know hey, if you need someone safe who's going to operate in your best interest, meet Baz, right? So thank you for being that guy. Thank you for guiding and coaching me for several months, being an integral part of the Hounds of Business and the opportunities you bring people that align with you, man. It's you practice what you preach. And for that, I say bravo, brother. Appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day as well to join us, to share. Hats off to you, man.
Mike, the pleasure is mine, and the audience. Thank you very much for listening. Please share the message and change someone else's life.
That's what it's about, change the life. So, hey, send this out, share it, promote it, give it to somebody. Put their best interests first, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Hey, we got Diana Kay. She's from the country of Georgia, amateur boxing champion. I can't pronounce it. It'll be same time next week. So, folks, we're going to go here. All right. We're going to have these kind of high value, high performer shows. So we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Baz. Thank you, audience. Tune in. Be good. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.